Hello, welcome to the Rooms with Ronald podcast, brought to you by the Multifamily Media Network. I'm your host, Ronald Harrington. In 2023, I set an intention to shop 100 apartment communities to see how leasing was evolving around the country. Rooms with Ronald was born out of that experience. In this series, I share my experiences and engage in meaningful conversations with other professionals in the industry as we discuss all things related to leasing and marketing. Join in as we expand the Rooms with Ronald experiment. Hello, and welcome to Rooms with Ronald, the Micro Living Edition. I'm your host, Ronald Harrington, and in the Micro Edition, we break down things in 10 minutes or less because we know you're busy. So whether you're drinking your morning coffee or you're on your short commute to work, we got you covered. And I am excited for today's topic, just because it's a fun title, right? To model or not to model? That is thy question. No, I don't mean just taking your photograph and putting it around the world like a professional model. No, I'm talking about the model units in your community. Now, I've seen it done both ways, right? And actually, if you've been following along, you know that I've been tracking, did I see model homes or vacants when I was on my tours last year, and even the tours that I'm doing now into this year. So here's the thing. I don't think it's a one size fits all. What I think is it comes down to your community and your clientele. What I can tell you is that personally, I prefer to show vacants. And actually, I have found more success in showing a vacant apartment than I do a model, because I'm also going to properties and helping lease out properties that aren't cookie cutters, right? So early on, in the 70s and in the 80s and into the early 90s, all of our apartments were kind of cookie cutter, right? So we only had one or two options for a one bedroom, one or two options for our two bedrooms, and maybe one, if not two, for the three bedrooms, right? So we didn't have all these different floor plans. So it made sense to have a model because they all, we didn't have, like we do now, 27 different types of one bedrooms. And for some reason, new developments love to have a variety of one bedrooms, right? You have the A1 Alt 4, A1 Alt 6, and it's like the wall is changed from 30 degrees, and now it's like 60 degrees. It's a corner unit, whatever that is, right? So back in the day when we started doing models, that made more sense because there wasn't a lot of differentiation between, the different types of apartment homes. So we could do it. But at the same time, that was the expectation from the renters. Well, the renter preference has changed. We know that a lot of people want to see the actual apartment home that they're moving into. Now, there's a couple reasons for this. Reason number one is that we know that there's some anxiety and some past trauma from people who move into apartments, right? They were shown a model when they moved in, and then they moved into their brand new apartment home, and it was not what they saw in the model. And if you've been on site recently, I'm sure you get asked that a lot, right? When you go show the model, it becomes one of these things like, so is my apartment going to look like this? Because renters know that we make the model top notch, right? That's the best foot forward. We're going to make it with all the bells and whistles. A lot of communities are going through renovations or have gone through renovations. So there's different backsplashes, there's different counters, there's different tiles, there's different cabinets. All the things that you're doing in renovation might be not the same now, right? So the model might be upgraded, but not all of your apartments are upgraded yet. So that doesn't make sense to have a model. The other thing to think about is models, that every model that you have is actually costing you money because you cannot rent that model out, right? So it is an apartment that is sitting there vacant, no income coming in. It's a loss to lease. Like, you're incurring charges having the model. You also have to pay for the electricity and all of those things, right? So think about it from that perspective. Now, if you work in a demographic that needs to have a model, or all of your apartments look the same, then have a model. But find ways to show vacants, because this also encourages your maintenance team to have apartments made ready. You can't show something that's not made ready. So as a manager, you can go to your maintenance team and say, guys, we have to make these apartments ready and we need them made ready, yesterday. No, not yesterday, but, in a reasonable time to show them. Because if you're really just showing the model to show the finishes of the apartment homes, you can do that with a vision board, or you can do that with a textile board, right? That shows the color of the cabinets. It shows they can fill the granite or whatever that tile or that countertop is, right? So you don't need that model anymore. So think about it from that perspective, right? And do some research, like look around and track it. So maybe you are only showing vacants, right? You still have your model, but you're only showing vacants and for these move-ins, right? So, okay, here's a vacant apartment. Am I leasing at a higher conversion when I show a vacant versus the model? I would venture to say you probably will, because I know that's what the renter wants today. Now, here's the second thing. Let's talk about these mini models. I think mini models are pointless. I think it's awkward. Because especially a lot of times leasing agents don't even tell us, like, hey, we're going to go see a mini model. No, they just take us to this apartment that has no furniture in it, but maybe there's some towels in the bathroom, or there is a rug on the floor in the kitchen and a walk-on mat, and there's some utensils and things like that. That is so weird to me. Like, I recently went on some tours and we went into some mini models, and like I first walked in, was not expecting it to be a mini model because she said you could move into this today. And there were like towels hung up and there was like a photo on the thing. Like, I was like, why? Like, it looks like someone kind of lives here, kind of doesn't. Like, so I'm just like, and then that puts a lot of stress on your team, right? Because once someone moves into that mini model, they have to take it and they have to go and move it to the next place. And we know a lot of markets are still leasing really fast. So they could be in there one day, gets leased out for a move in 2 days later, then the next day they have to go move it to the next place. Or what some properties do is they do it as the move-in gift, and they just leave it for the next resident who's moving in as a welcome home gift. A lot of times that stuff doesn't match people's decor. That is your taste at your property, not Ronald's taste, not Bob's taste, not Jill's taste, right? So then the resident has this stuff that, what are we going to do with it? Most likely it's going to go in the trash. I don't want your fake plant. I don't want your live, love, laugh sign. I don't want any of that, right? So find other ways to incorporate it. Maybe instead of taking the mini model money that you're going to do, and maybe it's you apply that towards the welcome gift, or you take that model and you really need to incentivize that apartment. Instead of taking the mini model money that you're going to spend on it, maybe that becomes the additional bonus for your leasing professionals, right? So it's $50 for a mini model on average, right? So now my commission is $100. So if you lease this apartment as a leasing agent, you're now going to get $150 because that's what I would have spent on the mini model. I think that model should go away. I think that we're too diverse now. I think the clientele has changed, because if we still need to show apartments and we are 100% full, we can make videos, right? We can make a video and we can show the video of that floor plan, right? As soon as someone gets out, get into the apartment and make a video. Make a library of every single video of apartment home that you have, with everyone having a video and photos of that, on the off chance that the apartment isn't ready to be shown, you're 100% full, or the resident wants to see that exact unit and you can't show it. So ask yourself now, to model or not to model? Very similar to Vogue or not to Vogue. Love the Madonna. Alrighty, guys, this has been Rooms with Ronald, the micro living edition, to model or not to model. I'm your host, Ronald Harrington. Join me next time as we talk about the power of words. Until then, happy leasing. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope I left you with some fresh ideas or a new perspective. Leasing and marketing are evolving rapidly, and Rooms with Ronald is committed to offering a place to hear about those changes. We also celebrate and acknowledge the fundamentals of exceptional service that will never go out of style. So, if you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, or subscribe. Visit multifamilymedianetwork.com to learn more about our other exceptional industry podcasts, call pieces, and sponsorship opportunities.